I know I literally just made a video kind of about this, but just to continue, because conversation on Facebook continued and brought up another thinking, because I think, and YouTube is the only one that listens to my constant ideas without hating me for it. Maybe people hate it, whatever. Anyway, so he actually responded after like a shit ton of us were saying all this stuff, and he says, because someone mentioned how Israel is surprisingly pro-LGBT because this person happens to be gay, and do not use that against him because I am. Anyway, so, and he says, and Israel could be using the LGBT community to pinkwash the apartheid like Obama does to get favor and look progressive while still implementing fascist laws, etc. Well, he spelled etc. with an X instead of a T, which kind of is a pet peeve of mine. Moving on. And the people in Israel probably are quite friendly to the community, but the government can use that friendly appearance as a shield. See, now I'm going to bitch about people who think that the whole world is awful and that, you know, have all sorts of conspiracies and saying every single time, you know, any politician does something good, no, they aren't good. They are, you know, doing it to make themselves look good. But the good thing is still happening, so why do you care? Like, what the reasons are for it. And how do you know that's what their, you know, underlying attempts are? And as far as, like, you know, passing laws, it's not like Obama wakes up and like, I think I'm going to pass a law today. Yep, okay, law passed. Okay, what's going on the rest of the day? No, it takes a lot to pass a law, and they're just the final step. They're not the ones who propose it, really. You know, it goes through, like, all the different stages. Okay, I don't know how American government works so well. I just remember this from what I remember from social studies. So this is mostly Canada, so, like, it moves through all the different people, and then it finally gets approved by the final person, which in our case is the Governor General. But for the most part, she doesn't have any power other than to approve laws, because she's just a representative of the Queen, because we're still sort of a colony. Not real beer, by the way. I'm not drinking it's non-alcoholic. Anyways, so yeah, like, and you know, I hate people who think that any friendliness or any good tidings or whatever else has to be to make themselves look good. I'm sorry, I don't, you know, help that that person who dropped all her groceries. I don't help her pick them all up to make myself look good. I do it because, oh, she dropped all her groceries. Poor thing. Let me help you. Like, why does everything have to have an ulterior motive? And why is everything, you know, why are, you know, using words like fascism and communism, a little less, and all these other things, saying like how bad all the government is, and you know, it's treating the people like shit and everything else, and I'm like, dude, calm down, be happy for what you have. I am serious, because people, like, it's the people who complain about that for the most part, and have all these conspiracy theories and everything else that live in countries where things are pretty damn good. Now, admittedly, the States has a lot of problems, but that's less, you know, the president's fault, because you'll see for him he's trying to implement things to make things better, but it's a lot of the other people, like the people who control the money, because I'll put a video actually, link, the money in the States is not controlled by it's not the government's money. They borrow the money from the Federal Reserve, which is not federally owned. They just have that name, just kind of like how the beef at McDonald's isn't actually 100% ground beef. The brand that the beef brand is 100% ground beef. So they can use names like that incorrectly, so to trick you. But the thing is that even like in Canada, these people bitching, and I'm like, dude, we are not living in a fascist government. I mean, you go back 50, 60 years, and you have some serious issues in a shit ton of countries with them. Even U.S. and Canada used to be really, you know, a lot worse. It's actually, as time's going on, things are getting way better. Well, in the States, less so on the education and health sides of things, but the States is kind of going down the toilet because they're stupid. There's a lot more to that issue, obviously, than just saying they're stupid, but I'm talking more about Canada right now because I'm Canadian, and this bitch on Facebook is Canadian. Anyways, But I hear this all the time from like my like total left wing friends or people I know that are really left wing. Me, I'm kind of on the left side of the middle. Middle being I don't give a fuck. Because obviously I'm not conservative by any means, but and I'm very open-minded. But the thing is that all the way on the left end, you get people who think anything that's even slightly right-ended is, you know, Hitler or Nazi or Stalin or whatever else. Like, it's all fascism and totalitarianism and all this other bullshit. I get, like I actually mentioned in my previous video, all this shit about Harper. There's so much shit against Harper saying he's, like, gonna be, he's, you know, the same thing as Hitler. He's just as bad as this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, dude, calm down. He's not that bad. Like, fuck, calm down. Granted, he's not the best, and I would prefer someone else was in charge, but realistically, like, he's not nearly as bad as a lot of other country leaders. And, you know, potentially, like, in the States, any one of the... I always mix them up, Democrat and Republican. I fucking always mix them up. So, the conservative one of the two. In Canada, it's simple. We have the Conservative Party and the Liberal Party, so you know which one's which. Well, we also have the NDP, which has gotten better because the Liberal Party went down the toilet, and then the NDP got better. But now that they have, you know, Justin Trudeau and the Liberal, they might change back to being between those two. Moving on off track. But anyways, the one that's not Liberal, the Conservative ones, the leaders of that parties are fucking nuts. Like, imagine if they got into power. Like, holy fuck. So it's not, I mean, the fact that our conservative leader is liberal by comparison is kind of a sign of things aren't so bad. And besides, we live in Canada. We have free healthcare, universal health care. Gay marriage is legal nationwide. With that universal health care, you can get hormone therapy and a sex change operation if you're transgender. They're always bitching about how horrible the whole system is. But I'm like, dude, you don't have to pay for hormone therapy or surgeries. Calm down. Like, they're always talking about how, like, it's horrible that you have to, you know, be living in the gender you wish you're transitioning to for 2 years or whatever, before you can start getting hormones and whatever. And I'm like, that's a small price to pay to be able to do that and not have to pay it's really expensive. So, and you know, it's got great mental health care, second in education. We have tons of natural resources, so we're not like, and we have plenty of land, and okay, fine, the weather can be kind of nasty, like today, the low with the wind chill was -36, holy motherfucker, but I mean, that's just winter, it's just winter, but yeah, like, things are, like, in Canada, things are pretty good. So when I hear all these people making all these, like, shit saying it's so awful in Canada, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are places where it's bad, like that whole oil thing that apparently I'm not that educated on, I'm realizing, but the whole, like, military after the First Nation protesters is kind of like, but for the most part, Canada's in a pretty good spot, and to be Canadian in this day and age is pretty awesome, so quit your bitching.